Coming up, the United States doesn't play. 2 drone strikes have killed 2 commanders of the Islamist terror group Al-Shabaab. Then Egypt makes some adjustments to its anti-terrorism bill, removing jail time and offering the option of fine payment. And later on, the African Union has a change of heart. The body will now be sending human rights observers to oversee the controversial July 21st presidential elections in Burundi. Network Africa starts now. Hello and welcome to Network Africa on Channels Television with me, Cynthia Are. Topping our news is what's happening in Somalia. It's believed that at least 2 senior commanders from the Islamist militant group Al-Shabaab have been killed in a drone strike in southwest Somalia. As things stand now, there's been no official confirmation from the Al-Qaeda-linked group, but those killed are believed to be Al-Shabaab commanders. Berdere, the town where the drone strike occurred, is one of the few towns still controlled by Al-Shabaab. If this is true, it will not be the first time the U.S. has killed terrorists. In the past several years, senior members of Al-Shabaab were killed in similar drone strikes. Well, for more on this development, we're joined by the Voice of America's terrorism and security expert, Jeffrey Young. Jeffrey, thank you so much for joining us on the program.
Always a pleasure, Cynthia.
Thank you very much. Now, what are the authorities in the United States saying about this drone strike in Somalia?
Cynthia, first of all, as voanews.com reported, news about this alleged drone strike came from Somali media, not from the U.S. government or U.S. media sources. There have been no statements from the Pentagon about it, nor any from the White House. There have been so many drone operations in Somalia, Yemen, and other places that Washington typically doesn't comment on each one of them.
Oh, in the event that this is actually true, even though the U.S. is not saying much, like you've said, Jeffrey, are there chances that we could see some retaliation?
Well, that's not a question that I or anyone else could take a finger and put it on a map or a person and say, this is where the retaliation is going to take place. The terror group Al-Shabaab has fighters in a number of places. If there is retaliation, it typically involves what is called a soft target, meaning something that is not surrounded by military and security elements. It could be a building, it could be a number of targets. It's hard to provide a precise answer to that. Yes, there is the possibility, there's always the possibility of retaliation, but where and when and how, that we don't know.
Now, this is coming at a time just before the President of the United States is due to be in Kenya. Do you think that if this drone strike actually took place and killed the 2 Al-Shabaab commanders, as is being speculated, do you think it will have any impact on President Obama's visit to Kenya, considering the proximity between Somalia and Kenya?
Cynthia, rest assured that President Obama's visit to Kenya will involve a very strong security element, as do all of his international trips. It is highly doubtful that Al-Shabaab or anyone else would try to directly attack the president, his motorcades, his hotel, or anything of the like. If there is any retaliation, it may take the form of an attack on something else at the same time as the president's visit. That in order to give that attack a very high level of media attention, which of course is what a terror group like Al-Shabaab and other terror groups seek with each one of their acts of destruction.
Well, Jeffrey Young, thank you so much for your time. As always, we appreciate your input. Thank you very much.
Glad to be with you.
Thank you. The Voice of America's Jeffrey Young reporting from Washington, D.C. Well, we're still looking at security, but this time in Tunisia. We've got the latest for you concerning the Sousse massacre. From what we understand, Tunisia has handed over a terror list to Algeria. Now, that list contains actually 100 suspected terrorists, and it's part of the security cooperation between the 2 countries. Now, here's where this list gets very interesting. The nationalities of those reportedly on the list are Tunisian, Algerian, Moroccan, Libyan, Malian, and Nigerian. The reports follow a deadly beach attack in Tunisia last month in which 38 terrorists, mostly British nationals, were killed. Also to come on Network Africa. The United Nations announces $12 billion in funds aimed at curbing mother and child deaths. Details when we return.